Yeah. Okay, it's recording and welcome back. We had to take a break.
Jesus Christ, that
This is
map
the
was
review.
long.
Yes, this is the review portion of Resident Evil Outbreak mod.
File number 1.
Yeah, the map was 3 hours long. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
it's
and the sad thing
no.
is I'm the one that made this pick. I was the one that picked it out, so I get to go and go down the list. So, number of infected, overwhelming, underwhelming, the right amount. This one's kind of tough for me because when I say infected number of it, it's everything, including specials, the super hard ones, tanks, and there was at one point where it was a lot like Death Hour, but this time we had like 10 tanks instead of about what 6, and we managed to get through that. And then the finale, there was like another 10. So I'm gonna say it was overwhelming. I'm actually gonna give it a 0. Mainly on the tanks alone. Then you also have the fact that we took on well over 100 specials. Even though they were intricately placed, they were constantly spawning while we were trying to figure out what we needed to do next. And for as much common, the common wasn't even that big of a factor. Even at the end of the map, it said there was 100, like 1,000, 1,300, I think it was. But it was mainly the specials that ruined that campaign, I think. Because a lot of us either died or got incapacitated to the point where we needed to try to find health. And given health was everywhere, but still sometimes we didn't have it anymore. So I'm actually going to give it a 0. Dread, what'd you think?
I'll give it half.
Any reason why?
It wasn't that bad. The tanks were manageable. The specials were manageable.
But
The common weren't overwhelming.
well, at points, yeah, I can see. Yeah.
So I give it half.
Okay. Kyo?
I was actually gonna give it half myself as well.
Okay.
Really, the common not a problem. In the special infected, I really kind of attribute to how long we were playing.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, they're supposed to spawn every so often.
That's true. But my reason was mainly the tanks that came in
Yeah,
one point.
tanks.
I
But
mean, we
it
pressed
was,
It was like when we pressed a button, a tank spawned. I'm like, what the fuck?
and we learned not to press that button, didn't we?
Yeah, after a while.
The tanks.
Because we were trying to figure out what the fuck to do next.
Fast though when we dealt with them though.
Some of them, yeah. But then when we were out of ammunition, out of stuff, it got a little harder.
Yes.
So
half a stall still.
okay. And the next one, length. I am just saying 0. This is far too long. Even if you were not blind, you played this map before. It is just too fucking long. So I have to give it a 0. Kyo. Everybody, Dread. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna disagree with you on this.
Why?
I'm giving it half. Because because I'm guessing what the person was trying to do was that it's mainly meant for people who played the game and would have an idea of what to do. So if you know what to do, it would probably have shaved off like
yeah,
now.
but that is true, Dread. But some of it, even a person who has played the game, it might be slightly different too. This map was designed, and the idea of it doesn't mean it was played exactly the same way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you get a case in point when we played the Vanilla Ghost House, or even the other Mario games that were maps that were put into mods for Left 4 Dead 2. They didn't play exactly as a Mario game should. We didn't Goomba stomp anything.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to give it half mainly because how much time we spent looking around.
Yeah.
It could have given us more hints.
Yeah, true.
So I give it half.
Okay. Kyo?
I'm not giving it any stalls. And take away another one of the stalls I give it.
So you want to give it -1.
I'm giving it -1 stalls because it's just too long for a Left 4 Dead campaign. 3 hours basically.
For us, that was blind.
Yes, but even if you know what you're doing, you're probably still gonna be
Well, think of it.
closer to the 2 to 2.5.
Yeah,
I'm saying
even if you knew
it's
It's
what you're
still
doing.
way too long.
Yeah, even if you knew what you're doing, even if you had a team of players that knew the map inside and out, it's gonna take you a while because then you gotta make sure you do it the right way. You gotta do it in a certain order. You have to do this. I can agree with why Kyo says that. It's one of the weirdest things. We could have shaved quite literally a good hour, maybe a good hour and a half off if we knew what we were doing. But even at that, it's still at least an hour and a half long map, and that's still far too long. I
This is
mean,
a map that you bust out at LAN parties, since LAN parties are meant to be long lasting.
yeah, this is something that you want to do, or you just really want to take it up all nighter and you want to be concentrating. This felt like being in a Warcraft raid, for Christ's sake. It was so goddamn long.
Yeah, it's
It
just
didn't need to be that long.
too long for what it was put into.
Yeah. Okay, next is the difficulty. I'm giving it full. The full star for this one is that for as much as I did complain about the common being kind of overwhelming, well, the infected in general being overwhelming, it did give us health items, it did give us weapons, it didn't spawn like overpowering amounts of specials at us at one point unless you count that one where we kept fucking up and pressing a button for a tank. I still have to give it a full because it stayed with the normal difficulty. Everything felt like we could still get pat by, we could still make it, we can still keep going. So, Dread.
I'm giving it a full 2.
Okay. Uh, Keo.
Wasn't too hard. It
Okay.
wasn't balls hard,
Yeah.
but it wasn't easy either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was far from easy.
Okay. Keo.
I'm gonna have to give it a full star as well. There's no problems there. Everything was where it needed to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you were massacred.
Yeah.
There was no real party wiping event.
It seemed like the only thing we all agree on that this map gave us the right difficulty fitting so far. That and the next one, design. I have to give it a full. It stayed within theme. There was, I mean, given there was a lot of posters based on other Resident Evil games, but it stayed within theme. They took the time to put somatics in it. They took the time to basically be very creative where they put the special areas where we could find the secrets, what we needed to get to the next part. They made it progression. Given this is a good for survival horror, Left 4 Dead 2 is not survival horror. It's straight up, let's go kill that many zombies, kill that fucking tank, and let's get to the rescue. That's pretty much it is. It's getting from point A to point B and trying to survive it in the process. Whereas in Resident Evil or Silent Hill, those games are meant just to survive the fucking night. The entire goddamn thing, and try to do it in a puzzle solving way. It stays within theme. I'll give it a full star based on the fact that it stayed within theme. However, it really, really does not fit in the Left 4 Dead's universe. Dread.
This was for
Number 4, design. It's
full star.
Yeah.
They put in custom skins, custom sounds, animations. They even put in a custom sound mod for the common infected.
Yeah.
They even put in custom music for the infected.
They really took their time, which
They
is
went
good for
balls out on
design. However, the map should not be in a Left 4 Dead universe. That's the only gripe I have with it. Kyo?
Yeah, I have to give it a full star. It mimics what it wanted to mimic well.
Yeah.
Though I will admit, that sound mod for the common infected pisses you off after a while. It's
Well, that's because
very
we were in there for almost 3 hours.
Well, it's not that, Dread.
it's intrusive and it's annoying sounding.
Yeah, that
It just
and
spells on you.
there's that, and then there's also the fact that it sounds a lot like either a boomer sometimes. If you listen to it, it sounds a lot like the boomer, in my opinion.
It did. Yeah.
So
It's
you don't exactly know what you're gonna fight behind that door. You're thinking, oh, it's probably a boomer, and then you realize it's a fucking bunch of common. So it was a good mod, but at the same time, it makes it really hard to detect what you're trying to what's coming up next. when especially we were already used to hearing the boomer sound or hearing the smoker sound or hearing all these other sounds. Because
But
now it's leaving you with the unexpected, which is both a good thing and a really annoying thing.
I mean, for a game, Left 4 Dead is a game about using sounds to identify what it is, using musical cues for
That,
certain events.
yeah, when you take all that away, given it amplifies the map, and I'll give it good for that, but I also give it a bad thing on it because
But
you
Left
don't
4
know what.
Dead was built around using auditorial signals to identify things.
Exactly. So, and finally, recommendations. I'm going to explain myself here. I do recommend the game, but at the same time to a specific set of groups. Okay? Which is why I'm only going to give this a half a star. The main reason is that I recommend it for people who really like playing, well, Resident Evil, or like the puzzle solving idea, and want to play, or even blind. People that just want to run this thing blind, or you want to take your friends blind. This is not a map for anybody to just jump into and say, hey, we want to play this one? This looks cool. That doesn't work. Because you're going to be sitting there for hours going, what the fuck? This is a shitty map. You don't want to play this map if you're going to be that guy. Okay? Just play this map if you like the Resident Evil franchise or survival horror or you like the puzzle solving aspect of it, like trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to find? Well, how do I need to get this here? Where do I need to go? Make sure you also read graffiti, all that stuff. You have to pay attention to everything, all your surroundings, and be very good at it. So it's a very selected set of groups, but it's only half a star in recommendation. It's only meant for them. Otherwise, I cannot recommend it to anybody else. Dread, how about you?
It's just starting to look like I'm the yes man or something, because I actually recommend this. It could be extremely fun for just big groups of people to play, or this could be fun just to see if someone has the mental metal to figure this out blind.
Yeah, I can agree with you there, but again, Dread, it's something that, like I said, if you want to take your friends to, or you want to challenge your friends, it's coming to a specific set of groups, though. This is not a map for everybody. Most maps
I
aren't,
still
but
recommend it.
you can recommend it. It's your opinion. I'm just saying what you're explaining is the same thing I just said. So, okay, Keo.
I think half a star is too much, but a quarter of a star.
You want to give it a quarter, okay?
Yes, it's the same. I want to tell you you should try it, but most of me is just going to say don't try it, avoid it like the plague. It'll hurt. It's going to take you forever, and you're not going to enjoy it after a while. The fun will cease.
Yeah, okay, hold on. We're all over the place in the star ratings. Give me a second.
It just, I don't know. For me, I just kind of felt disinterested after a while in the map.
Yeah, that was the one problem with it. It's too fucking long. That was the problem with. That's the biggest problem. It
It's
should
like,
be.
oh, I'm just.
I understand. I understand that it's supposed to be meant this way, but when you are making it a blind run, it's far too long. And even if you aren't blind to it, most people who jump into this will be. It's far too damn long, and that's where people are just gonna get mad at you for it. It's a fun concept. Bad way of executing it is making it way too long. That's the biggest gripe we all have here.
I still think it was funny that in the intro we saw Lewis twitching with pain pills all around him.
Well,
Yeah,
that's funny, but then there's the problem of you never see them again.
We actually never saw where Bill ended up.
Exactly. Well, I'm assuming that they are going based on the idea that he still has been dead. As a star ratings, Dread, you gave it the highest of 4 out of 5. So yeah, you're the yes man. I gave it 2.5. I gave it 2.5, and Keo gave it 1 3/4 because he would have given it more, but then he had that -1. So, with all that, I'm gonna say it's right at 2.5 stars out of 5 overall. I'm not gonna give it any higher. It's one of those things where if you want to play this map, go ahead, just play it for yourself, and see if you can beat our time because I don't think we could have done it any faster in a blind run. But if you do it, you have to make sure you do it blind Because the only true way of playing it. But at the same time, you don't want to play it blind. It's one of those weird maps.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
I
we
actually
started kind of
recommend
begging
playing.
for to have a guide at one point.
yeah, we were begging, just like, what the fuck? Where do we have to go? What do we have to do to find this item or this jewel or whatever it was?
I
I mean,
actually
you're gonna
recommend
figure it
playing
out.
blind
It's just
because
I
I
mean,
should recommend playing blind because it can be fun just to figure it out.
yeah, when it's that way, I mean, after we all finished it, we all loved it. It was like, finally, we did it. We achieved the greatness. And then we realized this map is near 3 hours long. That was a problem.
yeah.
I mean, it's fun to play blind. I mean, let's go, for example, Portal 2. When everybody got it, they played blind. Even, well, for example, Lord K, he played it on his stream the very first night. And he stayed up from 12 o'clock when it was released. In Eastern Time, it was released at midnight. He stayed up till near 5:30 playing it. And he wasn't even 3/4 of the way done.
But then again, Portal does have something going for it.
Yeah,
It's
and
called Gladys and Cave Johnson.
yeah. Whereas Resident Evil, again, is another blind game that you want to always play. Every game starts out blind when you play it. However, when you put it in the Left 4 Dead universe, and we're already used to the idea, okay, there's going to be some maps where you have to do platforming, where there's going to be some maps where we have to get to point A to point B in the fastest way possible. I mean, we've played some of those maps. And then you have this one. And this one kind of takes you out of the Left 4 Dead aspect and puts you in a survival horror situation, which is both fun and incredibly off-putting.
And not what they intended when they made Left 4 Dead.
Exactly.
See, I like my custom maps to still have the spirit of the Left 4 Dead and take from the source material.
Mm-hmm.
Not
And-
so much, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, I incredibly like the map, but even if I like it, I have to go truthfully and go on the basis of what would a normal player, if they're just casual or hardcore, it doesn't matter, what would they do if they wanted to play this map, and give them my personal rating. I give them 2.5 out of 5, and that's my personal rating of it. I can only recommend it to a certain amount of people. I can say that it's really good on the difficulty, so it never really changes. I can say the design really is really great. But, again, campaign, way too fucking long. And I don't think anybody's going to sit there and play 3 hours of a map, even if they're running it blind. And really, it kind of will get annoying with the infected if you're playing 3 hours at a time of it.
I mean, there's a reason why Dead Central, Dark Carnival, or any of those are only about, what, an hour long?
Not even
Hour
that.
and a half?
Even if you played it blind, it's about an hour long.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't play it blind, it's maybe 45 minutes at the most. Because at that point, you know where to go. You know what to do,
Yeah.
how to get there, what's
For
the
the
fastest
most of them, I
route.
can get through it in about 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to play this map on easy, even at that, it still feels kind of tough to get through. Because that's still going to take you about 2.5 hours to get through.
I mean, I'd
This is the
actually
problem.
go play the Pirates of the Caribbean map.
Yeah.
That was freaking 10 minutes.
Again, Dread, thanks for spoiling it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our playthrough, and of course, this review. Take this review
If you
seriously.
survived watching the playthrough.
Yes, make sure you just have a time of your life. Just watch it. If you want to play the map, go fucking right ahead. But other than that,
You
hope
have
enjoy.
been warned.
You have been warned. This is not a map if you're just going in there for fun. If you want to play
This
it
is
for
not a
blind,
shits and giggles map. This is a
this
you
is
need to pay attention
serious.
map.
You need to pay attention to everything, and try to make sure you know the sounds, the music, and make sure you can do everything possible to survive.
You may want to turn off your mods
That too,
for this one.
because this has its own mods, and it could break your game. You don't want that. Anyway, see you later, guys.
Bye bye.